But thank God for the people who are, we used to call it kicking butt and taking names. But anyway, the warriors that are out there, one of which is Craig, Sawman, Sawyer, vets for child rescue. Let's hear it for Craig as he comes to share with us. Come on up there, big guy.
First things first, bear with me as I ask you to lift up with me Pastor Dave and Cheryl for their obedience, for their faith in calling out this wicked, satanic, global system of evil, of perversion, of corruption that's ruining everything that we hold precious and sacred. Where are the other pastors doing this? Where are the other pastors pointing at the evil and saying, that's not okay. Father, we have faith in you. We will make war against it. These who are making war on the children, who is standing up for them, Father? Where are the pastors saying that's vile and against the Father's will and it's not okay? And knowing that the Father has us protected and we will go and expose them. So this is not only very beautiful and special to me, but I do pray that God causes this whole conference to resonate and send a ripple across not only this nation, but the world, so that countless children can be spared from this unspeakable harm. And let's hold up Pastor Dave as the exemplar of faith and obedience and bringing everybody together. And I'll tell you, yeah, let's lift up a round of applause for him. This needs to happen. It needs to happen. This is an act of love. Do you see? Do you see? Beautiful to me. Beautiful act of obedience and faith. And I suspect many lack the faith because they don't know the Father well enough, so they don't dare. And that's why, to me, it's, as a warrior, it's beautiful. So many ways to serve, and that's a premier way, in my opinion. And I'm so honored. So many people in this fight that I've been honored to know in the 8 years that I've been involved in it. We've prayed together, we've worked together, we've operated together, we've networked together, been on each other's shows. It is a blessing to see so many rounded up here and brought together and loving on each other and sharing and celebrating each other's contributions to this righteous fight. So I'm just so grateful for all that. And not the least of which is my own queen, Tressa, who has put up with an unreasonable mission. And we have been attacked, we have been defamed, and I can't even put you through the filth, and I wouldn't want you to, but she has not only stood next to me, but closer and more boldly and more actively, as are our children now. So God's building a warrior family with that I didn't intend, but it's happening because he's just that good. So Tressa, just stand up and let me honor you, sweet pea. My wife. Bless you. Every warrior needs a strong shield maiden, if you will, behind him. And she is mine. And I deal with a lot of heavy stuff, folks. And I do a lot of prayer now. And God is moving in me. And I'm growing in my faith. And a lot of the prayer is heavy, and it's self-work and improving and humility and all these things. But sometimes the Father's funny. And one of the things that he said to me that I thought was hysterical, he said, you know, I was praying thanks for her. And I said, Father, thank you for her. Thank you so much for her. And he said, yeah, she's the hippie you need. I'm like, the hippie? That's hysterical. Did you say hippie? It's like, she's the hippie you need. You're wound a little too tight sometimes. I went to her, I said, God said you're the hippie I need. She goes, I know. I feel like such a spiritual toddler when these things happen. So I'm going to get into this briefing, and I'm going to talk about what we're learning here at Vets for Child Rescue, what we're doing about it, and what you can do about it. You ready? Say go. All right. Okay, I have a background, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because it only matters in this: God uses everything. In everything, for everything, in his kingdom, there is a reason, a purpose, a plan. When I've been through things, a rough road, man, physically, and been all over the world, and I'm like, why have some of these things happened to me? Why have I experienced some of these things, Father? Why me? And now I look back and I'm like, Father, thank you. You're brilliant. Like, you knew. He's like, yeah, thank you, son. Thanks for recognizing I'm God and you're not. But just realize, file this away. God uses everything. So I have a background in covert counter-terrorist operations, and I was raised by a strong family, a strong man and woman of God, and a church not radically different than this one. So just file that away. I'll get back to it and you'll see why. This right here, folks, is the most meaningful slide I'm going to present to you today. This is the beauty. This is our King Jesus. This is his heart. These are the precious ones. These are the ones that are sacred to him. Innocent, pure. He's had things to say about them. Don't hinder them from coming to him, because the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these. He ranks things differently than we do, folks. His ways are higher than our ways. Just a child. No, not just a child. A child. And the kingdoms, and the Father's kingdom is where it's at. And because of that, the fallen, all the way back from the very beginning, it's a spiritual war on mankind. The fallen are making war on God's creation and their most high-value target. And counterterrorism, we call it an HVT, somebody that needs to be hit or extracted. Well, in a dark and twisted and upside down demonic realm, children, the most precious, the most innocent, are the high-value target because they're precious, because they're defenseless, because they're not deserving of any harm. He wants to do unspeakable harm to it. So he motivates weak humans to do it for him, for wealth and power. At the crux of it, if you realize it's a spiritual war, everything else will make sense. If you refuse to see it from a spiritual lens, it'll never make sense. Because a little child doesn't have anything to attract a full-grown male. No features. No reason. It's so distorted and perverse, it's only in the mind of the fallen that would be any sort of objective. It's not really about sex at all, it's about abuse. Okay? So it's a spiritual war on children. The enemy's goal, from what we've been learning, all of our investigations, interviewing many, many witnesses of satanic ritual abuse and other trafficking and familial abuse and all of it, we're learning that the fallen want humans to traumatize children so badly that they never recover. There's a reason that they have skits where someone dressed up like Jesus will rape a child in a ceremony. They want that child never to find Jesus, because that's their savior, that's their salvation, that's their rescue, that's their power. That in the enemy's mind is that which they must never find. That's the conflict, and that's what we're finding. So the wicked want to traumatize them, wreck their little minds so that they question every relationship from then on. They're never okay. They never find their salvation. They never make it to heaven. It's a dominion thing over that little soul, and hoping to draw that soul down into hell. So those who rescue and those who prevent and those who heal are serving the kingdom in a beautiful way. So here's to everybody. So if possible, the fallen want to kill the children while still in the womb. They'll call it health care. They'll call mutilation gender-affirming care. Do you see the perversion? Satan is a counterfeit. He's the father of lies. When he speaks lies, he speaks his native tongue. So all of this spin, once you start to recognize it's all distortion and perversion. When you see harm, you're like, why are they calling it something pleasant? Because deceit is what lulls us into complacency and allows it to happen. Here is a video inside the womb of a female human egg at the moment of conception. And there's a chemical reaction and there's a burst of light, and I want you to just witness this. This impacted me very, very profoundly when I saw it. And I think when you witness this, maybe it will for you too, if you haven't seen it already. Pure, precious, sacred, new life. Straight from the Father's Ruach, from the throne. A precious new one. The enemy wants it, that new one. Now do you see why? Even if still in the womb, if possible, they want to eradicate that life. Ugly, ugly, but who else is going to stand up if we don't? For the little ones. Ritual child abuse is nothing new. Again, the fallen have been at this throughout human history. Many, many different cultures have fallen because they have brought their children through the fire to Baal and Moloch, whoever else, to the fallen for wealth and power, and God struck them down. The Israelites did it again and again. Read through the Old Testament, you can't miss that. It's like, man, that's like a broken record. Father, save us, and he would, and then they burn their children again. He's like, let us learn from that, folks. What we're finding is what JFK warned about the secret societies is very prudent warning. He saw it back then, folks, before I was even born. I'm an old man now, I'm 61, and he warned us, but we didn't listen. The very word secrecy is repugnant, he said, to a free and open society. Why? Because it's nefarious. Not because you're not allowed to have a secret from the government, but because men abuse it. And they turn wicked and they're hiding something from it. And what we're finding is that they're abusing these secret societies to traffic children and sacrifice them and all the things that the fallen have them do. So it's all, as far as motive, about ultimately, from my understanding, greed and lust for power. Weak charactered men want wealth and power. They'll do anything to get it. Well, it happens that Satan wants war made on the children as an up yours to the Father. So Satan is the God of this world, small g, for a season. And Satan wants the children defiled, traumatized, and destroyed. So he will give perks to weak-charactered men and women for doing the unspeakable to the most precious and innocent. Do you see?
Yeah, so true.
So people want official government positions. They want movie roles and endorsements. Hollywood, look at the industry, rancid. They want government contracts. Ooh, there's a lot of that. You can get wealthy if you'll move children. MVM has been trafficking children for HHS. Health and Human Services, for years, covertly, like a covert operation. Remember I told you I had a covert operation background, and I started recognizing, that smells like a covert ops. That's like you would do a weapons cache in a hostile country. They're moving children like that. Boz knows about it. So many strong brothers and sisters in this fight. I'm so proud to be locking shields with some of you in this fight. So music albums, tours, hit songs, these are perks, all these kinds of things. Big CEO positions, we see people getting all kinds of favors they're not qualified for. They're not effective in these positions, but they're in the rancid club, so they're gonna be given that spot. That's what we're witnessing. Be aware of that. How many of you, just by show of hands, has ever heard of Russ Dizdar? Because, you know, in this crowd, I figure many would have. Well, he was a dear friend. We used to pray together. We were planning joint operations, and he passed away. His team work with us continually now. So Russ was a dear, dear friend. He investigated this and operated against the dark side extensively for the Father. Strong man of God, true brother. And he wrote many books, but one was The Black Awakening, and it's about this cult who do this to children, and they believe that they're building an army. So they do this to their own children, and they're racing to do it and program as many as they can because they think they're going to build some army and win the big spiritual fight. It's laughably insane, but that's, if you research it, most of you here probably understand what's going on with that. That's what they believe. I have to shake my head at it. Nazis at the end of World War II, we brought over in Operation Paperclip a lot of the Nazi scientists that had pretty much mastered this. And they settled in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and it is extensive there. It is rampant there. They do it to their children. Law enforcement don't catch it in a lot of cases. And it is multiplying, and it is spreading evil throughout our nation like you wouldn't believe. So we brought them here. We wanted their wisdom or their tech, their science to run NASA. Werner von Braun and all those we brought for NASA, the rocket scientists from Germany. They did great stuff with rocketry. The ones that were involved in the psychology, the MK Ultra, Monarch, and all those other programs, utterly demonic. And we're paying for it now. So with the satanic ritual abuse, this has been gone over. I'm not going to beat this to death. I'll run through this. It's trauma-based programming. It's systematic, and it's so sophisticated and effective at controlling that person and enslaving that person. I personally, it's not biblical, so if I'm wrong, crucify me alone for it, but my opinion after learning all that I've heard and seen, I believe that this is not technology that man would have ever figured out by himself to do to each other. I think man was never meant to have this level of control over another, even against their own self-preservation. People can be programmed to do unspeakable things to themselves and cooperate with it, and I believe that is directly from the fallen. I'm going to ask the Father about that directly when I pass on, like, hey, was I right about that, or did I get it all wrong? They have different things that they program the people to do. For honeypots, they'll train them to be a beta, and that's the personality. It's a sex kit, and they use them for porn to target politicians and high net worth individuals for control. And so she'll sucker him in at a bar or whatever, roofie him, or just lure him in and film him doing horrible things to kids. And that's what Jeffrey Epstein and a lot of that was about. Those type of blackmailing operations. An alpha is a basic personality. They train to do different tasks. A delta is their assassin. They need people gone and killed, and they want the person not to remember that they've done it. I think the most high-profile delta personality was, who's the one that, Sirhan, that unloaded his pistol at RFK, but I think didn't hit him, but he tried. But he doesn't remember it. And that's what a lot of people strongly believe he was one of those. So there's a lot more personalities that they train, but that's what they do. They torture that mind, and they do it to children because children split more easily. They can't get away physically, so their mind splits. And the practitioner, the abuser, will take each personality and train them and program them and specifically demonize each personality part. And one from what we're learning, a lot of the survivors, that their programming is breaking down and they're being supernaturally healed, and a lot of counseling and therapy. Thank you, Jesus. That's beautiful, by the way, in an ugly topic. The beauty is far greater than the evil. Where was I going with the healing? The programming breaks down. Oh, Tressa, I had it on the tip of my tongue where I was going. Yeah, I'll come back to it. Yeah, okay, each part of it. So they split the mind and they program each part separately, and they demonize each part separately. So one of the demonic entities assigned to a personality part is to run the programming, and another is to, what they say, seal it. In other words, to keep it from being detected, keep the frontal mind from recognizing they're split and they have other parts, and also from keeping the programming into that part from breaking down. So they re-traumatize the ones, they re-torture them and reprogram them, but they assign the demonic entities to them, at least 2 for each personality part, to keep that programming from breaking down and to keep them from being detected. That's pretty sophisticated spiritual betrayal and hostility, folks. Supernatural control. Again, I don't think it's natural. I think it's supernatural, and that's why it's so effective, scarily effective. I think the Father, I believe right now is the time when the Father's had it with this society. You saw a list of many others. I think now's the time when it's meant to be exposed so that we all have a good gutful and look at it and say no to it and say no more. We're not going to stand for it. We have the faith in our King, right? And we will say no more and revolt against this, whatever this is, this evil. We're not going to stand for. So there's a bunch of traffickers. You know about Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Harvey Weinstein, all of this. The Diddy parties, it's all the same ilk. A little bit different application, a little bit different flavor, but all the same war on children. And it is a war on children, make no mistake. A lot of different NGOs are getting rich, moving children for a corrupt federal government. God help us. How long, if we don't revolt and drive this evil from our nation, how long before is judgment falls on us? Okay, so it won't do to turn away and go, oh, harm to children, that's dark, I just can't. Or where does it leave the children if we, the adults, can't intervene? If you won't stand up and call evil what it is, then I would say you don't know the Father. Because if you know him, once you know him, you know he is king. You know it's all his. He spoke all of us into existence, even the fallen. They have nothing over him. They can't do anything that he ultimately doesn't allow temporarily for our own long-term knowledge and good. So there's that. State and federal governments are doing this. Child Protective Services, HHS, with the gangs are in on it now that used to sell dope. They're selling children, drug cartels, the elite. We've seen all that. Even children selling themselves and each other, parents selling their own children. That I learned about along the way. I thought it was only third world countries. No, that's here. Crack addict mommies are just psychopaths who are abused and never loved, or just a list of other problems. People end up demonized or just broken, and they do this. But yeah, here's what I learned about it. A friend of mine, we were burning cigars in Houston, Texas. A friend of mine from the CIA let me know that child trafficking in Houston is the hottest epicenter in the entire country. And I'm like, what does that look like? And he was describing it to me. And now when I get back to that slide for my background, he was describing it to me, and I'm like, that's a covert operation. I smell it, I see it. That's why the people don't recognize it. I'm like, wait a minute, nothing runs at industrial scale like this domestic covert operation. And I want to say this so for everybody to be very clear. My best understanding is that child trafficking in the United States is a covert operation run domestically here at industrial scale. Industrial scale, meaning it generates more revenue than all pro sports combined, is their best estimate. That's a lot of harm to children, folks. I can't even comprehend what has to be happening to generate that level of financial revenue. Again, God help us stand up next to Pastor Dave and Cheryl and revolt in love against this. So I recognize it because God doesn't waste anything. He uses everything, and then he brought me into the fight. Sunlight's the best antiseptic for corruption, is it not? So I founded Veterans for Child Rescue. And I did it specifically to ruin the enemy's operation against children. A covert operation requires secrecy. That's its best asset because nobody knows that it's going on, so nobody can defend against it. When it is compromised, is what we call in the intelligence community or counterterrorism, it means you're found out as the covert operative. You're in their territory, and they all know that you're there. You're going to do something they don't want done. You're going to kill their king, their evil king that they somehow worship, even though he's got them enslaved. I mean, whatever. If they know you're there, they're coming, and you got a problem. That's what I wanted to create here in the United States. hostile environment, hostile locals, hostile mama bears and papa bears going after the predators, people filming them, taking pictures of them. Why do you have that child? What's going on? Law enforcement, here's what's happening in my neighborhood. Here's what we're seeing. We're learning now how this works. So to be compromised means catastrophically exposed. Have your protective cover of secrecy torn away to be found out. And now your operatives are the hunted. Flip the tables. Isn't that like King Jesus to just turn the tables on them and watch them run? Let's do that. Let's do that. We can all have a part in that. Contraland, we filmed a documentary to expose it. 90 million households. I'm gonna go ahead and play this as a 2-minute trailer.
There are about 75 cartel organizations that are controlling and trafficking women and children. Now, this is slavery. These children come from our families. It's evil.
I don't ever feel like I'm going to be the same. I feel marked.
How much is 2 girls for a half hour?
I really wanted my mom to love me. And I also didn't want her to be sick.
I'll do it for 150.
It's so common that no matter what town you're in, you could probably go within a couple blocks and find a victim or a perpetrator of child trafficking.
Hi, how are you? Very nice to meet you.
The sexual exploitation of children has increased exponentially.
It begins with a glance, with a kind word, with a conversation, and pretty soon you've developed this relationship.
No family deserves to have this happen in their life. You're never the same, never.
Real men do not prey upon defenseless and precious children. Knock it off, or we're coming for you. We must not be tolerant of that which will kill us or that which will destroy our children. We can't be a network of people that says no more by ourselves.
The stories are something that the general public will never even imagine could happen. As long as there is supply, demand, it will never end.
So that's the doc. You can watch it at contralandmovie.com. When you're in this kind of fight, you pray without ceasing, or you figure out, you learn to. If you don't organically, you're gonna figure it out. We also expose it through a bunch of other means, NASCAR placement, a TV show, radio show. Some of the people here have been on it. If any of you haven't been on it and you want to, please let us know. We'd like to feature you because we wanna tell everybody what's going on, empower the people. Podcast, news, I've done quite a bit of that. Billboards all over the country, politics. We're fighting on all fronts, folks. We're trying to end this for all we're worth. This is our princess. So when I put in my paperwork to found Veterans for Child Rescue, our daughter Aspen had just turned 18. She was abducted and violently, savagely raped and defiled and traumatized, and it wrecked her. And I'll just tell you this though, now she has become a fierce, years later, warrior, and she is our greatest predator hunter. She catches them like nobody else, and she puts them away. We run joint sting operations with federal and local law enforcement. That's her and I. Up there on the front right, that's a LDS church elder, and it's her first operation, learning what she can do, what the Father had for her. House full of SWAT team, K-9 unit, you name it, surveillance teams. Father's brought us to be able to provide for this. We also train law enforcement. To do this, I brought a lot of my tactical brothers from my previous life together. Again, God wastes nothing. A lot of my brothers from back in the day are becoming radically saved and finding Jesus, and it's so beautiful. So we've got 100% conviction rate on our operations, on our sting operations. We got 32 child predator arrests so far, 97 warrants. We do border ops, observe and patrol and report to BORTAC and others. And these are dopers on the right, and we're hunting and reporting traffickers there on the left. Oh, and wear long sleeves down there on the Arizona border. What we're uncovering, folks, hundreds of billions of dollars in money laundering via real estate loan fraud. This is what a lot of the wicked do. They launder their money through real estate loan fraud. All across the country, there's BRICS nations that are sending money in to buy corrupted officials through municipal bonds. We're trying to get the Bureau to move on all this, and I'm hoping Kash Patel and Dan Bongino purge the Bureau of its corruption, and it acts in good faith to follow up on all the stuff that we're uncovering, because there's a massive RICO case right now that is supposed to be underway, and a holdover from the Biden administration is blocking it. It would tear down this entire rancid network, hundreds of billions of dollars. Right now it's being held up by one crook. So anyway, we've been attacked and smeared and all that, but God has our backs, and all of our attackers fall on their own bitter swords legally and just wither away, because he's good. The corrupt just attack us, censor us, you name it, but that's nothing new. Most of you in the fight, you deal with that every day. There's 70 warrants that the wicked are blocking in Nashville, and because we punctured something very, very big there. And they are frantic and they are panicking, and they seized all the evidence, and they're hoarding it to try in all desperation not to have those 70 warrants served. So very, very, very ugly there. Again, if the FBI gets purged, it'll move, and these that are hoarding that evidence will themselves go to prison. God's also, I learned here a lot more spiritual warfare stuff that I'm applying, and God's opened that door for me to share that in multiple veterans and spec ops groups and churches, and I didn't ask for that, but the door's open, and I'm willing and obedient, and I don't feel qualified, but God doesn't care, and he uses me anyway. And so, Dave, another thing I can thank you for, because, so what can you do? You can serve the kingdom, pray, seek the Father's guidance. He will guide you. He will guide you. So seek his guidance and serve however you believe that he's guiding you to do. And it will be powerful. If you follow his will, it'll be better than whatever you think you need to do. I can kind of say that from a trial and error. Remember what Jesus himself said about those who make war on the children, right? This is what he was talking about. This Luciferian attack on the children, this is what he was addressing all the way back then. What he has for them is worse than a millstone tied around their neck and thrown into the sea. Praise you, Jesus, my King. Unite together, sharpen each other as iron sharpens iron. The wicked are networked, folks. They are leveraged. They use each other, and they fund each other, and they back each other. Shame on us if we don't at least do the same. We have to learn to do that so that we can be maximally effective. And in the end, pray like everybody that you have seen Jesus move mightily back in the Bible. Pray like they did. Pray like Moses did, Enoch, Joshua, Noah, David, Samuel, Gideon, Yeshua himself. Big prayer. Was he praying to himself? Was he praying to the Father? A little bit different personality, role, but it's just beautiful that he demonstrated as a perfect exemplar how we're supposed to be. So that's it. That's what we're supposed to do. Get involved however you want. We've got a lot of tools on how you can get involved on our website. So you can go to v4cr.org, pick whatever you like, support any of these other organizations, support for sure Pastor Dave and Cheryl's initiative here, because aftercare, I can tell you, is sorely needed. That mission is a righteous and very, very needed one, so support that, please. I beseech you, and I bless you for whatever you give. Pastor Dave and Cheryl, bless your hearts. I love you guys and appreciate what you've done here.
Sawyer, I just want to say this. You you may be seated for a minute. The Bible says, take heed when all men speak well of you. And, you know, just putting this thing together, gee, people, have you seen this on the internet? And you know, Craig Sawyer was, other than myself, Craig Sawyer was the most criticized guy. And just cheap shots. And I don't know how many times I sent back an email or said on the phone, have you not heard the news yet? The internet is not reliable. You know, putting this thing together, there was an internet hit article against us, Church of Glad Tiding, said that Michael Flynn and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pete Chambers had put me forward as a hero figure that is surrounded by angels that I can send out to kill people. Honored to be in the company of all those other men, and I am surrounded by angels, but that's not what they're for. I wouldn't push it though. But anyway, I just want to say I am just proud to be friends of everybody that's a part of this. And when these days, I don't really trust you unless somebody somewhere is criticizing you. You know, I know at the minimum that you're not doing much. Because if you're doing much for good, somebody somewhere is going to try to cheap shot you. But we love Craig Sawyer and Vets for Child Rescue. Love them very much. We're going to watch another, let's hear it one more time for Vets for Child Rescue. And you just tell everybody that you know that Craig Sawyer is an awesome brother in Christ and a good man.